are listening to Erik Wadell Pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 25, Building Skills upon Pausing. The name of this show is Pause. And I frequently speak about this concept of pausing, what it could mean to us and how we could use it. So pausing is our core skill. It's an emotional skill, and it is at the center of the framework that I have developed, the STAR framework. So, one difficulty in learning emotional skills is to get over this threshold of sorts, to grow used to pausing. Pausing is not very natural to do. Every living being carries a large amount of energy. To live is to sort of act out on energy. So if you think about Big Bang at the beginning of time, there was this massive explosion, and energy just thrusts in all directions. And that energy is still moving. And your body, your life, all biological life, everything moving, everything in physics, is a continuation of this sort of big thrust of energy, this Big Bang. So pausing, when we think about the Big Bang and that our lives are energy on the move, pausing is not very natural. It's difficult. It takes practice. And slowly but surely we get better at pausing. In today's episode, I will speak about what we can do once we have, to some degree, mastered pausing. Because once we have paused whatever we were doing, just paused. Once we have done that, we will see things in a new way. Things will be apparent to us in a way it wasn't while we were just moving along. When we pause, we see movement in a new way. And our decision making changes. This episode is called Building Skills Upon Pausing, and that is building emotional skills. And the STAR framework I put together is a holistic collection of emotional skills we can develop out of pausing. So wherever we are, we can pause. And once we have paused, we avail ourselves to this wide array of opportunities. If you look at the framework, you can see in the innermost circle closest to our core skill, pause, you will find the 5 universal skills. These are universal characteristics present in every emotional situation. So, if you decide to pause, you can then, upon that foundation of pausing, notice these 5 universal characteristics, and out of those 5 characteristics develop 5 universal skills. You can learn to master these different dimensions to life, if you will. So if you pause, you can then recognize motion. You can see people moving. You can start getting a sense of how people move, why they move, the sort of flavor to it. In what way does someone move? You can notice patterns, recognize patterns. Everything living, everything biological, follows these natural patterns of movement. So once you have paused, you can sort of take a step back and recognize patterns. What is happening where you are? Once you have paused, you can see time in things. You can see the time people puts in. You can see that if someone has put in a lot of time in what they are doing, then that says something about them and how they will respond emotionally to you. You can also recognize time in yourself. You can see when you are new to something or when you are adept. Also, when you have paused, you can internalize and introspect into your body. You can see how your body feels. You can notice if you are relaxed or agitated. You can notice if you are nervous or if you feel safe. You can also notice the bodies of others, how they feel, how they respond to you, if they tense up when you get closer, or if they relax. And once you have paused, you can also get creative. You can experiment. You can try different things out. Upon this foundation of pausing, we get a sense of space and time. We get a sense of options. Furthermore, once you have paused, you can take a step back and try to diagnose or evaluate what is important here. What is the most important thing in this moment? In the STAR framework, I have also put together 5 goals. These are sort of like 5 qualities that always are nice to have. These are 5 qualities that creates discernment in our emotions and feels meaningful. And these 5 are to find a pathway, a meaningful pathway, to achieve symmetry between ourselves and the people we meet, to gain structure, to not feel that life is chaotic, but there is some logical structure behind things. To notice authority and to make a sober judgment of where is authority in this situation. Sometimes authority is with us to a high degree, and sometimes authority is with someone else or something else. And lastly, predictability. All of us really need predictability in order to feel safe. To pause is, as I said, to have more options emotionally, what to do in a given situation. And if we have never paused in our lives, if we're just not accustomed to pausing, then just pausing full stop all of a sudden will feel overwhelming. We are simply not used to all the emotional options that pausing gives us. So pausing is something we organically do to an increasing degree. And maybe you are a person who already does pause. Maybe you even pause often. Then this episode will not feel that new to you. You will have recognized most of what I've been talking about. Maybe you even have some critiques to the structure I put together. But nonetheless, people who pause sort of get access to this space, this sort of emotional space. And once we are there, it is impossible not to get to know each other. So to pause is quite daring. Once we pause, we see people. And once we pause, people see us. So it is not always a good idea to pause. Sometimes we or the other person needs to be left alone. Sometimes a person needs to not be seen, needs some integrity, some privacy. And then we do not pause. But when we do pause, we gain access to this emotional space, this emotional foundation. And that is where a lot of interesting stuff happens. That is where a lot of meaningful stuff happens. It is difficult, it is hard not to find meaning if we pause regularly. Meaning sort of resides in this pausing space. But as with anything, we can get too much of a good thing. So we must pause with responsibility. We must be serious about how we pause and when we pause. And not pause more than we can digest. So I do not want you to confuse pausing with meditation. In my view, meditation is often quite severe. Meditation is this sort of intense pausing, and meditation very often overwhelms people. Meditation is sort of like if you have a person who's been out in the desert for a long time, and then you give that person buckets of water. That is not good for the person. So if you have been out in the drought for a long time, you must ease your way with water, sip by sip. And it's the same with pausing. And that is why I'm a big proponent of pausing as opposed to meditation. Pausing is this sort of more casual version of meditation. This more, it's closer to everyday life. You can pause and still pass as not being a hippie. Pausing is sort of like the responsible version of spirituality. It's a responsible, unpretentious version of spirituality. Like if we meet with kids or elderly people, they respond really good to people who pause, but kids and elderly have reservations towards people who meditate a lot. So kids and elderly are more close to some sort of next place, if you will. Kids are brand new and the elderly are soon to die. So I always trust their judgment best when it comes to these things. To wrap things up, we can build a number of skills upon pausing. And the framework, the STAR framework I've put together is like a starting point where you can look around and see if you find some skills you like, some skills that appeal to you or give you what you need in the situation you are in. I have put together like 5 branches of the star with 5 different difficult situations to help you navigate somewhat. But you can pick and choose to your liking, whatever speaks to you and feels emotionally logical to you. And try some different things. Test out a few skills from the different branches. My experience, why I have used or put together these specific 5 branches is that if I exercise each of these 5, I get this sort of a nice balanced feeling. They sort of cancel each other out in a good way, or balance each other out in a good way. That's it. Do you have anything you're thinking about?
No.
Thank you.